Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Thursday, and all of today's guests, including Trevor Linden, standing by, brought to you by the Vancouver Giants, celebrating anniversary 25. The G-Men have 2 games left on their 6-game road trip. Tonight they take on Braeden, and tomorrow they're in Regina to take on the Pats. Trevor knows all about those road trips, like Ray. Their next home game, Friday, October 17th against Wenatchee. A reminder, you can stream every Giants game at home or on the road on Victory Plus, VancouverGiants.com for ticket info, and to check out their theme night schedule for this season. Canucks play game 1 of this season tonight against the Calgary Flames at Rogers Arena. We're joined now to talk about that, among other things, by former Canucks captain and president, Trevor Linden. Trevor, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
It's good to be with you. The old Keystone Arena in Brandon, Manitoba.
Yeah.
You been there, Dolly?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Yeah. So you walk in there and it stinks like cow manure because they got cows and bulls and everything.
Brian Prop. McCrimmon.
Here we go. Hey, Donnie, you are a legend, but you're old, so you know all those.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
All right. Hey, you're not getting any younger, buddy.
Yes. Yeah, I'm right on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
but let's go back to when, and we're going to talk about men's health in a second, but let's go back to when you were 18. Look at Braeden Cootes today, 18-year-old, making his debut. 1988, October 6th, a 2-2 tie against Winnipeg. Game went into overtime. You took a penalty in overtime. What do you remember about that night as an 18-year-old?
Well, I'm glad we're talking about this because I didn't want to start off talking about the Club 16 Trevor Linden Fitness in South Surrey and the door and Dolly's problem with the door. Like, it's
too heavy. Yeah, too heavy.
I'm complaining, so I'm glad we've getting some hockey talk here and not all about
we'll get to that.
Problem. Yeah, okay. So, I think it was a Tuesday night. I think there's like, I don't know, 10,000 people that, you know what I mean? It was kind of a nondescript game. Imagine that ended in a tie.
Yeah.
To be honest, guys, I don't remember much. I mean, that was the first time I walked in the dressing room that night and hanging in my first time I'd seen number 16 in my stall because, if you recall, that training camp I wore 47, and obviously as a kid I was a big Bobby Clark fan, and Pat knew that, and so walked in and that was my number, so that was pretty special. But it's a great story. I mean, Braeden's got obviously he's played very well, and it's his first game, and it's pretty special for sure.
And what advice would you give him, Trevor, given your experience as an 18-year-old?
I would just say, take it all in. I think continue to learn, continue to watch the guys around you. For me, it was guys like Stan Smeal and Richie Sutter and Doug Lidster, and those were the people that kind of showed me the way, and there's a good solid group of people in that locker room, and so I think it's a tough spot to be in. I think it's harder today as an 18-year-old to break the National Hockey League than it was for me. Like, and I say this all the time, guys. Like, it was pretty much handed to me, and I was lucky enough to walk through the door. But it's a much harder league to break into as an 18-year-old now than it was 37 years ago when I did.
Was that door heavy, Trev?
Well, no. Even if it was, I wouldn't have complained about it. So I guess you bang down the door and you get in there and you get after it.
There you go.
I got a bum shoulder. Listen, Trevor, Bob McCammon said of you after training camp, we knew he was good in the corners. We knew he was good defensively. The offense was incredible. Harold Snepp said your maturity was through the roof. I see that maturity in Cootes, the way he talks. He doesn't talk like an 18-year-old. He talks like he's been in the league, a veteran. How important the mindset, the maturity, and all that stuff?
Oh, it's huge. It's very important. I mean, I think of the time I was with the team as in the president's role, and you saw that on the opposite side with some of our first-round picks. And I'm not going to name names, but just the lack of self-awareness, the lack of understanding what it takes. And that's hard to teach. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
you can teach defensive structure, you can teach little nuances, but that ability to have that maturity, be realistic, understand the situation you're in, and then I think for me, I mean, I don't know Braden that well, but for me, it was just understanding how I can apply myself and be effective and use my skills to open the door for me, if you will. And I think that that's what you're talking about, guys, and that's a big component to playing in the National Hockey League at all, and certainly as a young player.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, did you see enough of Pettersson in the preseason to think he can get back to his old form, Trevor?
I think it's a short sample, but I do think that people come up to me all the time and want to ask, and they ask how what's going to happen with the Canucks, and
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
I love talking sports, as you know, and I say this. I mean, their success this year will depend on two things, two people for that matter. That they need Thatcher to be healthy and be in the Vezina Trophy conversation, which is
Yep.
very realistic, and they need Elias to get back to where he needs to get back to. I mean, like, and that's just being a consistent performer, and he's got to be that guy, and he's got the skills and the capability, but he can't. He's got to be that guy for this team. And I would say last year, yeah, things didn't go well, but I always say you're never as bad as you think you are, and you're probably not as good as you think you are. The Toronto Blue Jays missed the playoffs last year and looked
Yeah.
horrific, and changes, and they got their game on. And I see the same thing could be true for the Vancouver Canucks. If they get goaltending and they can stay healthy, their defense is very good and in order. And I think Patrick's done an excellent job there. It's the first year we're not talking about, what they need on the back end. Now it's about goals. I'm not worried about goals. If PD is the guy that he can be, and I'm not talking out of worldly, I'm just talking an 80, 90 point guy that is, driving the offense, on a nightly basis. I mean, that's going to make so many people around him better. So, but I think it hinges on those two guys specifically.
Trevor, I'll bring up a bit of a sore point for you. You didn't win a Stanley Cup in your career. Connor McDavid shocks everyone. Okay, 2-year extension, no raise, 12.5 per. He hasn't won a Stanley Cup. Do you understand where he's coming from with that deal?
Exactly. Absolutely. So, I knew that I said this kid, he's going to sign a short deal.
Okay.
He wants to lead. I mean, and it's the LeBron James method. Sign a short deals and look where the cap's going in 2-3 years. So he wants to see what this window looks like for him in Edmonton, and it's perfect. So he's got he signed a 2-year extension, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 year,
Yes.
25.
Yes.
So he's got 3 years left. And after 3 years, he's going to be 30 years old, and he can say, and right in his wheelhouse. And at that point, he'll decide where he wants to be, and do an 8-year. And at that time, the cap's going to be, I don't know, 120 whatever million. So, and I think about this. He went to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 times in a row and lost. That is crushing. I mean, I did it once, and it's hard. To do it 2 times is hard, and you think about how hard it is to get there, guys, and how much you need to go right. Goaltending and staying healthy. If Zach Hyman stays healthy, maybe they win. You know what I mean? You don't know, right? But then you can say on the flip side of that, guys, as great as Connor McDavid is, this guy's been to back. There's a chance throughout his career. You just don't know. He may never get back there.
Yep.
You don't like Ray Bourque was the greatest defenseman to ever play. It took him going to Colorado, his last year, to get a cup, and because it's hard, it's really hard. And so I think it's a prudent play by him, makes total sense. And I think it puts the onus on management and ownership and that group of players to say, hey, we've got 3 years here. We've got to, and at that time he can reassess and see what the landscape looks like then.
Okay, before I let you go, you're involved with the Canadian Men's Health Foundation. Friday is World Mental Health Day, and part of the focus, Trevor, is something called exercise snacks. Exercise snacks. What can you tell us?
Well, Don, you love some snacks, right? You like a little, we all do.
We all
Don.
do, yeah.
Yes.
These are exercise snacks. So the Canadian Men's Health Foundation, which I've been with since 2014, advocate for men's health, not only their physical health but their mental health. Teamed up with Club 16, Trevor Linden Fitness, and we've built these 3 to 5 minute videos, and they're super super easy, super straightforward. Go online, trevorlinden.com or the Canadian Men's Health Foundation, and it's just the emphasis on taking time for yourself. Exercise is not only physical, it's for your mental health, as Dolly knows.
Yep.
So, it's with World Mental Health Day tomorrow, men's health, men's mental health, dudes want to talk about the Jays and the upcoming hockey season, but they don't want to deal with their mental health or talk about what's going on. So, the campaign is all about moving your body for mental health and preempting. Get to your doctor, investigate if you've got some problems. Lots of resources on the Canadian Men's Health Foundation for mental health, physical health. It's your responsibility to your friends and family and kids to take care of yourself. So I urge all men out there and women for that matter as well. Take a mental break, and a lot of times a mental break is getting outside, going for a walk around the block, going to the gym for a workout, getting away from your device, your phone, your work, just being present and breathing and moving your body. So move for your mental health, everyone. And Canadian Men's Health Foundation, Club 16, Trevor Linden Fitness have got some exercise snacks for you, which you'll find rather tasty.
There you go.
So,
Okay,
awesome.
and before I let you go, Trevor, you mentioned the Blue Jays, and I remember this. You grew up in Medicine Hat. Blue Jays
Yes.
farm team, the Medicine Hat Blue Jays. Was that in your wheelhouse?
Dude, Shaker Mosby, it played in Medicine Hat. I was in the 70s going to those games. So yeah, I mean, I was a huge Expos fan in the 70s. Blue Monday in 81 crushed me.
Yeah.
The Jays winning the American League East in 85 was amazing. So it's been fun. I love baseball. So it's been, it's a great game. It's stressful as hell, though, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Stressful.
Fun to watch.
Fun to watch.
My take on baseball is what makes it kind of maddening in the regular season. Like, does this pitch really matter? Makes it so exciting in the playoffs because every pitch does matter. It's just the tension is amazing.
And that's the thing. Like I was thinking about that last night. I was so is that in a hockey game, there's so much action. It's happening so quick, which is great, and that's why we love it. But it's like this. In baseball, you're like, oh my God, it's 3-2. If he walks, this guy judges up next, and you're just agonizing over it, right? You're like, and then the fact that the game moves slow actually builds the tension, which I think is the beauty of it.
Yeah.
So
It works in this
nothing
time of
better
year.
than October baseball, boys.
Yeah,
So.
nothing better.
Okay, looks like the door is open for the Toronto Blue Jays. Thanks for this, Trevor.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
You
Thanks.
bet.